honestly, I might just want to go revenge here. I might just want to hammer the Colts to cover the spread. In fact, I may just go Colts outright because this is me essentially saying, F you to the Chiefs. You are bums. You're clowns. You don't deserve to be in the playoff race anymore. And I'm going to be back in the Colts. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going Colts.
It's the Thriller-Minute Argentine again.
Welcome to the Cover Story Podcast. I'm Jack and he's Mac, and we're on a never-ending quest to win you some racks. This is episode 7, and we've entered the James Franklin era in Blacksburg, Virginia. That's right, James Franklin agrees to become the new head coach of the Hokies. As part of his contract, Franklin had to renegotiate his buyout with Penn State. And instead of making $49 million via the Nittany Lions, he's only going to make $9 now. And part of that will be made up in his contract with Virginia Tech. So, Mac, to lead us off here, my question to you is, would you turn down a $50 million check in order to go back to work?
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense on paper. I'm pretty puzzled by this decision. I'm speechless. It's one of the wildest decisions I think someone can make. There's got to be some sort of connection that we just aren't aware of down there. But I couldn't even, to be honest. Yeah, I'm still trying to compute and understand the decision process there.
Well, yeah, he has some ties to the area. He's recruited it for a long time. So it actually, in terms of a college football match made in heaven scenario, Virginia Tech's a great landing spot for him. You know, I think he's got a lot of a long career left, so you don't need to worry about that $50 million. Now, if it was like, you know, Nick Saban and he was going to take $50 million and just go work for ESPN and collect the money via the TV money that way, I think that is a viable option. But no, James Franklin says, Penn State, don't worry about cutting me $50 million. 9's fine, and I'll go try and beat you in Virginia Tech. It'd be very funny if somehow we could see a playoff matchup or maybe a home-and-home later on.
I mean, just for a storyline, I hope that happens, because that in itself would be a fantastic and entertaining game.
Yes, that would be great. But we did have some actual college football games that we can quickly go over here during our rapid recap. Notre Dame trounces Pitt 37-15. We told you to take Notre Dame minus 11.5. One note on this game, otherwise blowout handled easily by Notre Dame. I need your thoughts on this. Pitt calls a timeout on 4th down. I think there was like 2 seconds left in the game or something. Essentially no time left. Uses a timeout, ends up scoring the touchdown, makes it 37-15, doesn't have any factor in the over in the total or the spread. Coward move by Pitt, or what do we think here?
Yeah, I missed this one, but I watched the highlights on it, and again, maybe this is why I don't follow college football anymore, is because you just can't understand some of the decision making in these games, and another head scratcher. I'm not going to be able to contribute much thought on this, to be perfectly candid. I think in itself is one of those things where you either can interpret it in a way where it justifies, or you're just sitting here thinking people are doing jobs and are paid to be doing jobs at a level that shouldn't be. So it's.
Yeah, they get paid to play football too, right? Yeah. Well, that was an interesting storyline. A lot of people had some thoughts on that one. Marcus Freeman brushed it off, said, hey, gave us a chance to get a stop on 4th down, and we didn't. So we got some stuff to work on. So kudos to Marcus Freeman and the Irish for coming through there. People that did not come through, the Alabama Crimson Tide told you they would cover down in T-Town against Oklahoma. The Sooners go into Tuscaloosa, win outright 23-21. We did tell you to take the under in that game, though, so that hit. So go 1-1 on that game. Georgia whoops Texas 35-10. We told you to take the dogs and the under. That was a 2-for win there for you. And we can finally stop talking about Texas because they're 7-3 and they have no hope to make the conference championship, no hope to make the playoff. So you can root for them in whatever random bowl game they get put on, probably somewhere around the New Year's slate. But it does pay to listen to this show, Mac. JMU Dukes, my now JMU Dukes, and Bob Chesney stomped Appalachian State 58-10. I believe it was 51-0 at one point too. The committee still did not put them in the college football playoff rankings. So they play Washington State at home this weekend. The line is -13.5 as of right now, as we're recording on Wednesday night here. So I think I'm going to take them again, and I'm just going to ride the JMU Dukes.
Yeah.
And wait till they get some respect. But
why not?
5-1 on the college slate for us on the pod here.
Love it. Love to see it. That means we are dialed in. Meaning Jack is dialed in. He is our college football expert. So we love to see those kind of odds. And again, just a quick reminder, it pays to listen or watch the cover story on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Because you're getting picks that we talk about that we are not posting publicly. So you listen and you watch, you're going to make some quiche.
You are. Another game you would have made some quiche on if you tuned in on Thursday was the New England Patriots taking care of business, beating the Jets in Foxborough, ripping off their 8th straight win. I mean, I was at the game, cool atmosphere, great to see Foxborough rocking again, had the old time feel going. Overall, though, that game was kind of a snooze fest. But, you know, Justin Fields is really bad, like really, really bad.
Yeah.
I think throwing the ball is a pretty necessary part of the job as quarterback, and watching him live, he can't do that. He cannot do that. So, we'll get to the Jets later on in the show, but it is Tyrod Taylor time officially, according to Aaron Glenn. So the Justin Fields $40 million 2-year experiment could be coming to a very quick close. España, we said take the Dolphins -2.5, hold your nose and pray, and boy, did that game stink. Now, I'm very glad I didn't have to watch that game because I was actually out being a good fiance and was at Snowport in Boston. So handling some holiday cheer, but was extremely hungover after our Friendsgiving we had on Saturday. Thank you to Cam and Alyssa for that one. But yeah, I don't know what was worse, being hungover or watching that game. So I don't know if you caught any of it, but any thoughts on that stinker?
Yeah, I did a couple live bets throughout it. I too, of course, was feeling the effects from the previous night at Friendsgiving, and all I know is Achan is carrying me to the promised land in one of my fantasy leagues right now. So it was great just to see him have a good game because he dropped some points there for us. And so, but other than that, yeah, not a ton of juice, not a ton of excitement.
Nope. Speaking of not a ton of juice or excitement, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Eagles win 16-9 against the Lions. We've seen some bad primetime games as of late, but Lions 0 for 5 on 4th down. That was Dan Campbelling to the max. Eagles still don't look great on offense, but they come away with the win. Your Cowboys crushed the Raiders on Monday night. Emotional win. Yes, if you're watching and you're not seeing Mac morph into his background, he does have his Cowboys sweater on at the moment.
The saving grace of primetime action. I mean, going from snooze fest to snooze fest to then have the Cowboys come in and bring the hammer down was a beautiful thing to watch. You know, we had some good hits that night as well. Our 2-unit and our 1-unit cashed on that. And then we also had some pretty sick live bets too. So fantastic money one night to wrap up and cap off the NFL Sunday weekend there.
Yeah, we do love that. And we also love the Baltimore Ravens. They are rolling. They've now won 4 in a row. We started this train 3 games ago. This was the sweatiest stop of the ride so far. If you follow us, we bought down a point. The line was 7.5. We bought it down under the key number of 7 to 6.5. What happens? The Ravens go down, score a touchdown with about 2 minutes to go, win by 7 points. Browns, Shadur Sanders, we'll talk about him here in a second, but the train keeps on rolling. If you started with 2 units like we suggested, you would be up 9 units now just on these 3 Ravens games. We'll talk about stop number 4 and whether it may be time to get off or do we keep on chugging. But one thing I will say, and you're going to hear this a couple times throughout the show, is, ooh, that is our new trend alert sound effects. That's right. Since their return to the NFL in 1999, the Cleveland Browns have started 17 quarterbacks, soon to be 18 on Sunday as Shadur Sanders gets his start against the Raiders. Those 17 quarterbacks have all lost their first game with the Cleveland Browns. Will that trend continue on the road versus Las Vegas on Sunday with Shadur making his first start?
That in itself, is that a 1 o'clock game or 4?
No, that's a 4. We were blessed with an amazing slate of 4 o'clock games.
Yeah.
This past weekend, but we'll talk about the stinkers that are coming at 4 o'clock this weekend. But we'll put a pin in that till we dive into the NFL slate. We'll finish up the recap here, though. Some of the big games from the weekend. Chiefs lose to the Broncos in Mile High. Fraud City population, Kansas City.
Yeah.
That team is now 5-5, sitting in, I think, 9th place, 10th place in the AFC, depending on some tiebreakers.
Yeah.
They have a massive game this weekend against the Indianapolis Colts. The Rams beat the Seahawks in the NFC West battle, 21-19. Last second field goal, I think it was like 68 yards or something. It was an absolute mammoth. Sam Darnold was bad. Could be credit to the Rams defensive coordinator, Chris Shula, though. The last time they played back when Darnold was on the Vikings, was in the playoffs this past season. They had 9 sacks against Darnold, so maybe Shula just knows a little something about how to navigate Sam Darnold. So we'll see if the Seahawks can bounce back. And then the Bucs and the Bills. That game was unbelievable. Absolute track meet.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, 6 total touchdowns, 3 through the air, 3 on the ground. It's the second time in his career he's done that. He's the only player in the modern era. You got to go way back to like an NFL or AFL championship game, whatever it is, for that to have happened. That was the only other time. So Josh Allen is the king of 3 through the air, 3 through the ground. But 3-team parlay loss that we had gave you because the Chargers decided to just leave their game on the tarmac there and got absolutely smoked by the Jags. So that wraps up the NFL slate from last weekend. But football in America is not the only game of football that we like to discuss. We're going to take you to Mac and his weekend preview of the Footy games. But Mac,
breaking news.
USA.
Breaking news. Donovan Mitchell was going into the fourth quarter with 0 threes, is now 3 for 9 beyond the arc. That means we cashed out on our 3-person 3-point shooting parlay tonight, Wednesday night,
back-to-back
for NBA. That is back-to-back threes. I mean, what I don't even know what you want to call it, but that's back-to-back hits, back-to-back nights. Our first 2 inaugural 3-point shooter parlays are now 2 for 2. So had to just breaking news there because I just checked it, was just curious what to see. And lo and behold, we were going into this podcast thinking this wasn't going to hit because our 2 other guys had already hit. And Mitchell hit 3 threes in the fourth quarter to cash out on our first. Oh my God, that was at plus 198. Freaking love that. But oh my God, that fires me up. Let's go. But yes,
well, what also files you up? USA. Are we good at soccer again? What happened? Our second team is unbelievable. Like, where have these guys been?
This is what's getting me the most excited now is I cannot be more. I mean, look, World Cup is always the greatest sporting event in the entire world of all time. It's something I'm in my happiest place when this is going on. I was starting to get a little scared. Poach's time with us for Pochettino, Pochettino, there was no identity, right? It looked like there was just more and more questions are coming up. If you've watched our last 5 friendlies from the first match all the way to now, this recent one against Uruguay, you're starting to see what he's been preaching to us since day one, right? You're starting to see heart. You're starting to see
What is he preaching? Tell us.
he's preaching, first of all, passion. He's preaching desire, fire, but also work ethic. That's been something that's been, I would say, especially our this new generation of American soccer players,
Our golden generation,
our
right?
golden generation. It's that's been the biggest criticism that they see is there's no heart in this team. There's no fight. They're all essentially, what's the right word for this? Not soft. Well, some of them are kind of soft, but
Lackadaisical, lazy,
lackadaisical,
wimps.
privileged is actually the term I was thinking of. Because
Oh.
they're playing well in Europe, these are the first players. It's for the first time we were going to be essentially rostering an entire starting 11 that all play in pretty much the big leagues in Europe. And these people think they deserve the world, and they don't. And we're now seeing Poch is essentially hammering it into them like, doesn't matter where you play. If you're going to earn a spot on this roster, you have to show up every single day in training. You have to show up with a great attitude, and it's clicking. And now we're seeing MLS players are starting to show up. I mean, our match against Paraguay
champions.
it was incredible. We essentially had a lot of our starters. Now, Captain American's been out. He got injured in our last round of friendlies. And AC Milan just doesn't want him to obviously get re-injured, which I think is understandable. I wasn't too upset about him not being in that roster. But we saw a lot of who I would want and who I would hope to see as our starters for the World Cup play against Paraguay, and they looked really good. But this game against Uruguay, which they're not the same Uruguay they've been in the past, right? I mean, we saw they were one of the top countries in the world. They always competed, but that was, the Edison Cavani, the Luis Suarez days. This is a different lineup. Having said that, our boys looked incredible in that first half, and it was pretty much all MLS guys. You had Haji Wright starting, which he did look solid, but I have to tip my cap to Berhalter, Sebastian Berhalter, the son of the infamous Greg Berhalter, who I will never tap my cap to.
Where do I know that name?
His father will always be on my blacklist, but Sebastian plays for Vancouver Whitecaps. I watched him thoroughly in the last two matches against FC Dallas for our playoff run, and he was very impressive then. He was kind of impressive, I'd say, in previous friendlies, but my God, last night he looked incredible. And we're starting to take shape, and I think it just shows that Pochettino is going to actually have a difficult decision when it comes to coming up with this roster next summer. So, I don't want to. I can go on a tangent about this, but to give you a high level recap, I'm very excited. We're starting to see Pochettino's vision come into play, and it's get ready for the summer, because if we keep seeing this, especially in our final round of friendlies in the spring before the actual tournament, we could do some damage on home soil or home grass, if you will. Oh my God, dude. I wouldn't go that far, but it's this exciting times. I'm going to be essentially not buying a house in the next year because I'm going to be spending all my money on games. So, very, very pleased, very proud of our boys. They looked incredible, even though they're just friendlies. But you know what? Enough about international talk, because the international break is over. And now it is time. And might I add, we're going to have, I believe, 3, if not 4 months of nothing but club play until the next international break. So let's do something different here. Because this is airing on Thursday, I'm going to give you a pick for today, for Friday, for Saturday, and for Sunday. So we're going to start off with today's pick. Now, again, we're going to drop this episode Thursday morning. This game's probably kicking off around 2, maybe 3 o'clock Eastern time. So you're going to have 5-6 hour window to be able to get this pick in. But I am full bull on Stockport over at Peterborough. And this is English League One. So this is technically the 3rd division in England.
These are fake places.
Stockport playing away, and they're at plus 115. Stockport's one of the best teams in England One, going against one of the worst teams. But you tend to see this in these lower divisions. The team that's favored, top team in the league, playing against a lower team, playing away, they give them a nice little juicy line. So at plus 115, I will be taking that outright. Maybe might add here or there. You'll have to watch our socials to see if we do. Friday, though, we're going to be heading over to Germany, because then we're going to be looking at Hoffenheim playing at Mainz at plus 160. Now, this one, there's a reason why I'm going to say it's some risk, right? Just 160 in itself, they're technically unfavored.
It's a spicy bratwurst.
It's a spicy bratwurst, because Mainz is arguably the worst or one of the worst teams in Germany. Hoffenheim actually have played very well. They've won their last 4. Both clubs, of course, are going to be coming off of international break, well rested. They don't necessarily have players that are getting a lot of international time. I mean, some of them for smaller countries will, but this is going to be a heavy fought battle. I don't think it's going to be a close game. Although if you look at their standings and you look at recent form, you would think Hoffenheim would just smoke them. It's going to come down to the wire. But at a line at plus 160, that's a juice I'm willing to take. If you want to play it safe, I bet you can get a decent line for a double chance with Hoffenheim. But I'm going to be wanting to hammer that. There's a handful of other games on Friday I'm looking at too. But again, you'll have to follow our socials to get a look at those. Now take us to Saturday. We're going to stay in Germany. We're going to be looking at a club that has made us quite a bit of money here historically this year, and that's Bayern Leverkusen. Because Bayern Leverkusen is playing away at Wolfsburg. Leverkusen, again, one of the top clubs in Germany right now. They're not really having a big hangover after the post-Xabi Alonso and wave of talent they lost era, if you will. They're playing very well. My boy Grimaldo is setting up and scoring left and right. Been a big fan of him. And they're at plus 100 away at Wolfsburg, who is one of the worst teams also, or lower teams in the German Bundesliga. So Bayern Leverkusen on Saturday, which to tap us off up on Sunday, we're going to be heading over to England because we see Aston Villa is playing Leeds at Leeds, and their line is at plus 140. Now, Aston Villa started out horrendously this year, but Emery has started to, the manager of Villa, has started to actually pull this together. The players are starting to actually click. And I also want to shout out our boy McGlynn over at Aston Villa, who just
shout him out,
who just secured a World Cup position with the great country of Scotland. That in itself, incredible match. I wish I could talk about all the European qualification matches. We don't have time, but such a big victory for him. He's going to be feeling very confident because he played a big part in that. And I think Aston Villa is going to come into Leeds and get a W, get all 3 points at plus 140. So just round it all out. Stockport, League One in England at plus 115 at Peterborough. Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga on Friday at plus 160 against Mainz. Bayern Leverkusen at Wolfsburg plus 100 on Saturday, And Sunday, Aston Villa at Leeds at plus 140. We're going all away teams. And that in itself, I mean, shoot, you parlay some of those together. You're getting a nice line. But not everyone likes to do bets on separate days. So that's what I'm excited for this weekend. Can't be more jazzed that club level is back. We're gonna have a lot of heavy and fun games on the slate to watch. Yeah, gonna be a good one. Which, of course, though, we got a big Saturday coming up as well, don't we, Jack?
Well, we have a Saturday coming up. I will tell you that because if you know college football, this is usually when the top teams like to put their last non-conference scheduled game. So you get the A&M versus Samford. You get while Ohio State Rutgers, I guess, is a Big Ten game. But a lot of the top teams in the country are basically taking the week off, a little tune-up game before rivalry weekend. That's one of the mainstays of the schedule that we'll definitely be talking a lot about next week. We do have 2 ranked matchups, though, which involves teams that we talk about quite a bit on this show, and that is number 22,
much, if you ask me,
Missouri, and number 8, Oklahoma in Norman. Sooners minus 7.5, over under 41.5. Now, should Mizzou be ranked? Is this the college football playoff? Maybe letting Oklahoma get another ranked win here. Who's to say? I don't want to infer anything here and piss off the almighty committee, but I will do a little bit of a blind resume for you, if you will. It involves 2 running backs. Now, the first running back, 1,346 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6.8 yards per carry. Second running back, 1,297 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6.6 yards per carry. If you could choose, which running back are you taking? Running back 1 or running back 2?
I mean, if you're just looking at a piece of paper on a resume, the 15 touchdowns and almost, 50 more yards seems like the right choice, no?
I mean, you would assume. Do you know who these running backs are?
Not a clue. So, but you know what? In the sake of game, let's take a little guess here. Now,
guess away.
If I were to try to read you right here, it would seem like, okay, the obvious choice for 1, probably going to be a Mizzou running back, right? He's got the stats. Number 2, probably OU. But I got a feeling you're trying to reverse me here. You're trying to throw me off my scent. So I'm going to say it's the opposite. I'm going to say running back 2 is Mizzou. Running back 1 is OU.
You were on the right path, but no. Running back 1 is Ahmad Hardy through the first 10 games of his season. Running back 2 is Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram during the first 10 games of his Heisman Trophy campaign.
So
Ahmad Hardy
it's a puff piece for your
Oh, yeah, that's right, baby. Ahmad Hardy has 50 more yards, 5 more touchdowns, and has more yards per carry through 10 games than Mark Ingram's Heisman Trophy run. And that is all thanks to his 25 carry, 300 yard, 3 TD performance last Saturday against Mississippi State.
Went off
in a Mizzou Tiger win. Now, I bring all these stats to the table because maybe an upset happens. What is Mizzou very good at? Running the football. What is Oklahoma very good at? Stopping the football. Immovable object, unstoppable force, doesn't add up very well for the Tigers. Now, what is Oklahoma good at? Throwing the ball. What is Mizzou not good at? Defending the pass. Not ideal for the Tigers.
Say less.
But OU can't run the ball, and Missouri's run defense is very stout. They get to the quarterback. They're able to make them one-dimensional. Now, the fact that, like I just said, the one-dimensional aspect is the better form of offense for Oklahoma does not line up well. But we have one silver lining to this, and that is our Lord and Savior, Bo Perbula, against all odds, may actually play in this game. So I'll leave you with this. If Bo Perbula is able to go in Norman, I will say take Mizzou to cover, and as soon as that news comes out, jump on it because that line is going to disappear. Now, if Bo doesn't play, take Oklahoma. The Tigers won this game 30-20 in Columbia last year, so Oklahoma is going to look to bury this team. No love lost here before for the old Big 12 foes. So, yeah, Bo Perbula, the key here. Focus on the running game for Mizzou and the passing game for Oklahoma.
All right, so just to get this right, you think if your quarterback comes back, that you actually have a fighting chance.
We're dangerous, baby. We're dangerous.
All right. I will 110% be fading Mizzou. So, I'm sorry, but they've cost me too much. I know they're your alma mater, but I will not fall for this blind patriotism of your alma mater. And my pick is going to be OU spread. In fact, I might even buy points because Mizzou are just absolute heartbreakers. But I appreciate your loyalty to your old school. Again, though, I will be hammering OU, and that's not going to change.
Well, pay attention to the news on Bo Perbula. Maybe it will. Okay, the other ranked matchup is over in the Big Ten, and this one is massive because neither team can afford to lose this game. It is another playoff eliminator. It is number 15 USC at number 7 Oregon. The Ducks are 9.5-point favorites. Over/unders 59.5. This game has a very similar feel to OU Bama. Desperation on the line for both teams. If you really look at Oregon's resume, we're talking about resumes this time of year, their only quote unquote good wins are against Penn State. This was early on in the year, back when we thought Penn State might actually be a national championship contender. Yeah. We know how the end of that story goes. And then they squeaked out a win against Iowa a couple weeks ago on the road. And USC just played Iowa. They handled them pretty well. I think this Trojan team, we've talked about their offense a number of times on this show. I think they're going to come ready to play. I think Lincoln Riley is going to ensure that it's a tight one. So I think the 9.5, to be honest, is just too much. I like USC to cover in this game, but when it's a tight Big Ten matchup, what always comes out, what cream rises to the top, that is the big boys in the trenches. I think Oregon is just too strong, too tough. I think that defense is going to make one stop late to seal the deal for the Ducks, but I think 9.5 is too many, so I will take USC to cover, Ducks to win.
I couldn't love that pick more. As known, right? I don't follow college football extensively like Jack does, but all I do know is Oregon cost me big time a couple weekends ago because they couldn't even cover 3.5. So the fact that it was Iowa, if I'm not mistaken, correct? They won by
They
won by yeah.
won
So
by 2. Yep.
that in itself is leans with some scar. I got some scar tissue off that. So I love the fact that this line is 9.5. And UFC's made us some money this year too. I mean, especially just on overs. So like they're a high scoring offense, are they not? So I think
They
they
are.
could definitely make it close. And I do agree. I think Oregon will squeak it out. So I'm all for doing a little USC plus 9.5 to get the weekend going. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fun one. So really that's the only marquee games of note in the college football slate. We do have some great games here in the NFL though, so we're going to jump over to the big boys.
So just before we jump into NFL, I just want to confirm. I guess if we're looking at our picks for this weekend, then so you're saying Mizzou if Bo starts to cover, if not OU to cover, USC to cover, and then it sounds like too we want to go all in on JMU. So would that be a potential 3-team parlay right there for our Saturday college football slate?
That could very much be a 3-team parlay for slate. Do you have that for me, or do you want me to pull that up while you kick us off with some Thursday night action?
You know what?
Because I can get that line for you.
You get that line for me, and I'll get us over to here to Thursday night. Because Thursday night for our NFL action slate, what we're pulling up here is going to be Bills at the Texans, and Bills are only favored -6 with an over/under of 43.5. Now, no Dalton Kincaid again. We know Khalil Shakir is just had a kid. And so,
baby bump alert.
I think
that touchdown, take it.
Yeah, that in itself, because we know he's wanting to get that football and he's wanting to put it in his jersey, and he's going to want to point at that belly and then point up at the family that's there. Probably not the baby mama, maybe the baby mama, maybe the baby's there. I don't know, but just from an emotional standpoint, yeah, it clearly shows that I'm very familiar with that realm. But that guy's going to want to put a football in his belly and point to it. So I love that anytime touchdown line. That is juicy, and that in itself is a storyline. Love the emotion behind it. I'm all for that as well. And we also know no CJ Stroud. So Mills, again, is taking the helm over. Now, he is 2-0 this year with game-winning drives. One's against the Jags and one's against the Titans, if you will. Now, granted, Jags and Titans are not the Bills. So
he's an AFC South killer.
It could be a situation where Mills may keep it close, but you know what? I think the Bills, especially after that Carolina loss. Is that right? The one that was the weekend prior?
They got smoked by Miami.
Miami, that's what it was. Miami. I think that lit a fire under them. So we saw what Josh Allen did last weekend. I think we're going to see it again today. I think history is going to repeat itself. I think he's going to have a hell of a game against the Texans. We know Texans defense, as strong as they typically are. What Sam Darnold did to them, I think I think Allen's going to do that times 2. So I'm looking at a Bills -6. I like that line a lot, but you probably got some data. You probably got some stats that may sway my opinion or may not. I'd love to hear what you're saying there, unless you got the line for that college football game.
Well, I do. So we'll finish off here. If you take Oklahoma -7.5, James Madison -13.5, USC +9.5, that comes out to a whopping +611. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah. So that's one to monitor. You may certainly see that on our socials later on in the weekend. But tonight, Thursday night, you just laid it out. Bills, Texans. Pew, 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 pew. That is number 2, trend alert. The Texans are 5-0 outright and 4-1 against the spread at home in the last 5 meetings against the Bills. Now, was Davis Mills the quarterback of that team during any of those starts? No, he was not. And I think this might be a reverse trend spot. You always like to tell me guys are due. I say, he's hit 20 points in the last 20 games. And you'll say, well, he's due for a stinker. We thought that was going to be Donovan Mitchell, but it wasn't. Bing bong.
We love that.
But I do think the Bills realize that they are chasing the New England Patriots right now. And they have some teams on their heels that I don't think they want to be a game up on or just hovering above, i.e. the Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Chargers. There are some teams out there who are going to be dangerous, and I don't think the Bills are going to want to be flirting with them late in the year. And the Texans are exactly one of those teams because the Colts have a stranglehold over the AFC South. So these are two potential wildcard teams. I do like the Bills to go into Houston tonight. I like the 6 points. I know there's no Kincaid, but the beauty of it is they have Dawson Knox. They have Khalil Shakir. They just brought back the wide receiver, went to Jacksonville. This is bad. I'll get to his name in a minute when I remember it. Gabe Davis, thank you.
Yeah.
Just came to me. They just brought him back. He's got the chemistry with Allen. So, yes, I know, short week. Defense doesn't really need to bow up a ton against Davis Mills. The defense has obviously been struggling for the Bills, but I like the 6 points. I love the Shakir touchdown, and I might be all over Josh Allen rushing yards in this game because what is Houston's strength? Rushing the passer, stopping the run. So they're going to be coming. I think he's going to have to be moving out of the pocket. He's going to be trying to take off. I think his rushing lines could be very tasty.
Ooh, that is also good intel. I mean, as you all know, we're going to be giving you a 2-unit, a 1-unit, and a 0.5 touchdown lotto. So be on the lookout for those lines come Thursday before kickoff. And yeah, I think that's going to be some fun props to be looking at for the night.
Yes, I think this will not be a primetime stinker. I think there's too much on the line for both these teams. And another non-primetime stinker, Bucks at Rams Sunday night. Rams -6.5, over under 49.5. Bucks gave the Bills everything they had. Just overall, Josh Allen reigning MVP, too much. Rams looked great. Stafford potential MVP. Mac, what are you feeling for this Sunday night matchup? Again, two teams out in the NFC that are looking to, potentially be some Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, no, it's exciting matchup, right? I think in this case, the Rams, yet again, I mean, Stafford's turning back the clock. Just looking at how he's been playing, this is going to be a prop fest, right? Or you would hope so. But I agree. I think this isn't going to be another snoozer like we saw last Monday night. I think both of these teams don't have that like potential boom bust nearly as much as we know with the Eagles and so forth. And so I think they're going to be laying it all out. Baker is not the same Baker I feel like we were seeing in the first half of the season. I mean, he's still putting up really good numbers. He still looks strong. He's playing hard. And I mean, as we know, I mean, the guy is an absolute workhorse. So, I think he's going to be doing whatever he can to get it done. But Stafford, man, it's just hard not to back the guy right now. And he's doing it with also seasoned vets in his wideout line. I mean, Puka obviously is the one the youth of I was going to say Fountain of Youth, but that wouldn't make sense either.
Ponce de Leon.
Yeah, that
Ponce de la Puka.
Yeah,
Puka
but that wouldn't make sense because he already is young. So maybe like Devontae Adams and Stafford are the ones that are a Fountain of Youth, if you will. But no, I think he's going to be. I'm a big fan of I mean, look, they run with a 3 tight end system half the game. So what I'm going to be looking at is what tight ends are going to be on the line. It's going to be Allen. It's going to be Robinson. It's going to be Higbee. I don't know. All 3 of those guys have made me money in the last 3 weeks just on betting with them scoring a touchdown. So that in itself is going to be exciting. I'm not too familiar with the Bucs defense though, Jack. So enlighten me. Is that something to be warned about? I mean, after seeing Allen toss out and run 6 touchdowns total, I would assume Stafford should have a field day.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate part about the Bucs right now, and it's been plaguing them all year, is the injury concerns. I'm going to throw 2 names at you, and you're going to be like, oh my God, these guys still play football? Chris Godwin, remember him? I know he's coming back from a major knee injury last year, but he's been, quote unquote, trying to practice for a month and a half.
He's been sitting on my IR in one of my fantasy leagues the entire year.
Well, sitting on my IR is Bucky Irving and Mike Evans. And so I only have 1 IR spot. So they're just rotting away on my bench.
Yeah.
I mean, this team's been struggling. Obviously, those are all on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they don't have as many dudes as they've had in the past. Antoine Winfield Jr., trying to hold that secondary together. But yeah, I think the Rams are going to be too much. I think they are, feeling like they're in the driver's seat after beating Seattle this past weekend for the 1 seed in the NFC. You saw what they were able to do in their playoff run. previously when they won the Super Bowl. Obviously, that was at SoFi Stadium in LA as well. So they love the comfy confines there. Yes, I think Rams at 6.5. That looks like a great number. Vegas is teasing you to take the Rams there, just sitting under a touchdown. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep an eye on that line. I do think the Rams should win that game. I do like them to win by a touchdown, but that one screams like a little rat trap game because you do know Baker and the Bucs have no quit. So that one, something to monitor, but I think that one will be a great Sunday night matchup as well.
Yeah, I agree. Which then takes us, of course, to our last primetime Monday Night Football game. We have the Panthers playing at the 49ers in San Francisco, opening up at -7 in favor for the 49ers with an over-under of 49.5. This one is interesting because what the Panthers did last weekend, it makes you think, right? It makes you wonder, can these guys, because I could see it happening again. I think 49ers come out bang a bust. Purdy slinging it to Kittle, Christian itself.
Yeah.
Juwan Johnson completely failed us last weekend, but I think I think they start out strong. But the Panthers have a way of crawling back, so that -7 is a little bit enticing in favor of looking at the Panthers there. But would love to get your thoughts on that because that game I kind of almost really like the Panthers at -7. Oh, here we go. Jesus.
The other half of this stat, it's a twofer. I got a twofer for you. The Panthers are 7-2 against the spread as underdogs this year. So that in itself screams take the Panthers to cover that touchdown number. Bryce Young, Tetero McMillan, Rico Dowdle. I mean, the young guns are starting to feel it. Everyone had their question marks about Bryce Young. They finally kind of brought some weapons around him.
Yeah.
Obviously, McMillan, I saw a stat. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but he's leading all rookie wide receivers in receiving yards. He's even ahead of Ibuka, who shot out of a cannon down in Tampa, pun intended, of course. So
nice.
I think that team is dangerous. The defense has some guys on it that can get to the quarterback. They have a couple cornerbacks to defend against some of these wide receivers for the 49ers. We know Ayuk is still banged up. Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings was the name you were looking for there. He failed us. No slight to Juwan Johnson, tight end for the
What did I
Saints.
say? Oh, I said Juwan Johnson.
That's okay, buddy. That's why I'm here. It's a two-man game.
I had to put him in my fantasy starting lineup this last weekend or 2 weekends ago. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was tough. But yeah, I think the Panthers are lively in this spot. Purdy, again, he looked great coming back. Who doesn't look great in a Kyle Shanahan offense? And obviously you have Christian McCaffrey, who looks like his MVP self of old now that he's fully healthy. So yeah, I think this sneaky great game. If you had told me Panthers 49ers was going to get me, on the couch and ready to watch some football on a Monday night, I don't know. But I think this has a making to be a great primetime slate for us. So I will take the Panthers to cover that +7.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And then, of course, we know we can also have a little bit of some hedging, if you will, and do some heavy 49er props, right? I'm a big fan of that, betting on a team to cover, but then going with the spread or the props for the other team, right? So if one's pacing, the other probably shouldn't be. So could be some juice there. Granted, still have the potential of a win-win, but that's going to be some fun props to play with on Monday night.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good one. So that's going to bring us to our other games of note here. Obviously, choo-choo-choo-choo, the Ravens train stop 4 in Baltimore, hosting the New York Jets. The line is currently sitting just under 2 touchdowns, -13.5. That's a massive number. The Patriots covered it against the Jets this past Thursday.
Yeah.
But it is Tyrod Taylor, as we mentioned earlier. So is that better or worse? I don't really, it's hard to believe it's worse than Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But I don't know. 13.5 is scary stuff.
I hate this line. I hate this line so much because it's like you can't even buy down to get decent juice. It's just
buy down to 9.5.
Like what? Win by oh my God. I don't know. It's just the trend that we have so much money to play with now. We literally have 9 units. We're betting 9 units on this game. And what can get us the best bang for our buck without us sweating our pants off throughout this one? So I don't. I mean, granted, sure, it's house money, right? They've been. We got this capital built up. Equity is improving. Time to lay it all down. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious to know if that line shifts at all. I probably don't think it probably won't.
I can't
But
imagine it does. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, it's oh god, it's going to be
This
interesting.
this yeah, this is gonna be a wait and see to how we want to attack this. I'm not ready to put a
Yeah,
stamp down on a
yeah,
9-unit play for a
yeah,
2-touchdown win.
yeah.
Um,
Especially
but, you
4 days
know,
in a yeah,
yeah, that's why we do this. That's why we do this.
yeah.
For the love of the game
So
and
be on
cheering
the
on the Ravens.
be on the lookout for what we go with Sunday afternoon, or that's a 1 o'clock game, right?
Yes, yes, it
Yeah,
is.
so be on the lookout Sunday morning to know which direction we go with our 9 units that we're laying the hammer down on for this game in particular. But, of course, there's going to be some other games to note. Now, we did mention the afternoon slate. Nothing closer compared to what we got last weekend, but some decent ones in that 1 o'clock. I mean, right now I'm looking at Colts at Chiefs is going to be a pretty exciting one, and Chiefs are favored at 3.5, which you know, I don't
They
know if
were
that's
last
just
week too.
biases, but yeah, and look, we were full bull on them. We were, I mean,
Well,
as
we're dumb.
yeah, I'm not going to reveal how much I actually bet on that game because my fiance would fry me, but not not good. And so my scar tissue is everywhere on the Chiefs. I don't know where to take this one. Now the Colts, of course, had a bit of a reality check about a week or so ago, but came back with a win recently, right? In Kansas City, Colts, they're coming off a bye. So the Colts are well rested. Chiefs are coming off of that loss to the Broncos. Granted, it wasn't Mile High, so maybe that was a difference maker, but they do it twice a year anyways. So like suck it up, you bums. But I mean, honestly, I might just want to go revenge here. I might just want to hammer the Colts to cover the spread. In fact, I may just go Colts outright because this is me essentially saying F you to the Chiefs. You are bums. You're clowns. You don't deserve to be in the playoff race anymore. And I'm going to be back in the Colts. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going Colts. I'm going Colts money line because
Oof.
that's just where my heart is telling me. And more so when I say heart, it's my anger and resentment. And I'm gonna put my money where my fury is. And I'm gonna go Colts outright money line. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, that's always a good idea when gambling. You bet with anger and emotion, and you don't worry about statistics or underlying problems. Yeah, no, this game, it will not be on my card. But as we are a pick show here, I will give some insight. But yeah, the Chiefs are finished if they lose this game. If they drop to 5-6, kiss it goodbye. Old man Kelsey, pack it up.
Mhm.
Chris Jones, I don't know how many years he's got left in the tank to play at a high level. They're paying him a bunch of money. They've had 35 different running backs throughout their dynasty. But yeah, as we like to talk about narratives, the Cover Story podcast, this could be the beginning of the third and final act of this dynasty for the Chiefs if they drop this game. I saw a fake Twitter account tweet that Patrick Mahomes was looking to join the Jets to rebuild them. That was funny. I did get a kick out of that. I don't think we need to jump to those conclusions,
No.
but yeah, this game just we tried to pick it last week to be like, oh, there's no way they can lose this game. It's coming off a bye. Andy Reid undefeated as a Chief off the bye. Well, egg on our face, foot in our mouths.
Yeah.
They obviously lose to the Broncos. This one it's complete desperation. I think they're
Mm.
going to be backs against the wall. They know their season's on the line. The Colts, they've got a decent defense, but I think they're just relying way too heavily on
Jonathan.
Jonathan Taylor
Yep.
to be an MVP player every single
Mhm.
week. You saw the one game that it had to be Daniel Jones, and they had 6 turnovers, 4 interceptions,
Yeah.
I think. So, yeah, I
If
mean, if I
yeah.
had to, I will not be touching this game, but if I had to, I would take Kansas City solely because Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
knowing his season is hanging in the balance, they have to win this game. And they're at home, and Arrowhead knows that this is the 2025 season.
I mean, that was the logic we were using last weekend, right? And but to your point, I do think they've been relying way too much on Jonathan Taylor. And if we see Danny Dimes, a glimpse of Danny Dimes, especially in that first quarter, it's game over. Like I think if Daniel throws an interception in the first quarter, that solidifies that the Chiefs are winning that game. Like I think if you see him struggle at all in that first quarter, it's done deal. Chiefs are winning. Like I'd be curious to know if. I mean, this is a hypothetical, right? Opening drive, Colts receive the ball. Daniel Jones throws an interception on that first drive. I will lay the house on Chiefs to cover whatever spread is live.
After already laying the house on the Colts because you hate the Chiefs so much.
Yeah, so we'll call that an emotional hedge.
I love it. I love it. Just all over this game. Oh man. Well, that one will be something to watch in the 1 o'clocks.
Yeah.
The next game we're going to go to, we got two left for you here.
Mm-hmm.
Giants at Lions. Jameis Winston, first game, didn't quite beat the Packers, but he did get a rushing touchdown, so shout out Jameis.
Yeah.
We got the Lions minus 10.5 coming off the stinker of a performance on Sunday night, over under 50.5. Why are we talking about this game, you ask? That's another trend alert. Number 4, if you're keeping score. Since 2023 season, the Lions are 10-0 straight up and 10-0 against the spread after an outright loss.
Ooh.
So Lions to cover 10.5. Wowzers.
Yeah.
What do we think?
Well, that trend alert, I mean, Brew agrees too. This is a big one. So I would say, I mean, it's tough, right? Because that's such a high line, but that is also such a nice stat for our trend alert action there. And I agree, though. I think coming off of that loss, they are going to make a statement, and it really is like a must win, like big win for them. They need to come correct here. I feel as if, especially with the way the Bears are playing, they're gonna be guns and blazing. So 10.5, to be honest, with the scenario we have laid down, doesn't scare me too much. Now, having said that, I would probably want to buy down to like 9.5, right? Have them just cover by touchdown and a field goal. That would be a lot more digestible for my take there. But I do definitely think they're going to come out and win by no question there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they really just lay the hammer down and win by more than 2 touchdowns, but it's such a high line.
Yeah, it's a big number. It's a big number,
Yeah.
but I agree. Shockingly, the Chicago Bears are in sole possession of first place in the NFC North.
Who would have thought?
So
Who would have thought?
Ben Johnson, former Lion coordinator. But that brings us to our final game. Patriots minus 7.5 at Bengals, over under 50.5. Joe Burrow, a full participant in practice today, this Wednesday. We're recording this, so we will see how that progresses throughout the week. No Jamar Chase, that is definitive. Suspended after spitting on Steelers cornerback Jalen Ramsey. You thought you were going to escape. We have another trend going back to 2023. The over in Cincinnati is 14-2. The totals this year in Cincinnati, 58 points versus the Jaguars, 61 versus the Lions, 64 versus the Steelers, a whopping 77 versus the Jets, and 89 points versus the Bears in that absolute calamity of a game. I would love to see Joe Burrow play just because I would, the NFL is better with Joe Burrow at quarterback, but Joe Burrow doesn't play defense, and the defense for Cincinnati is awful. So give me the Patriots to cover. Give me the over. Yeah, there's going to be some points on the side of the Pats going for 9 in a row, 10-2, baby.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots are arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL right now. I mean, the way that they've been playing, Vrabel's doing such cool things here in New England. So you gotta love that. And I agree. I mean, it's obviously my take is I'm going to wait and see what Joe Burrow's doing on Sunday. That will determine what direction I go with. But I even think the Patriots will win it outright regardless. And that over stat makes me love that line then, of course, at 50.5. So that's what I'm going to be looking at for sure. But overall, I mean, it's going to be an exciting game to watch.
It will be an exciting game to watch. I do love that over. And I do love one player in particular. One final trend alert for you. That is the Cincinnati Bengals are allowing 34.09 fantasy points per game to running backs. So load up on your Travion Henderson props.
Nice.
Touchdowns. He had 2 on the ground, 1 in the air on Thursday night against the Jets. There's rumors Ramondre Stevenson could be back, but I think, after the last few weeks, he's holding on to the ball. This is Trevion's backfield. So maybe look to take some of his props. And I will leave you with a nice little trend alert parlay, and that is going to be the Patriots over 50.5, that Cincinnati game. And then I think we are going to parlay that with the big number of 10.5 for the Lions. And if you take those two plays, it's coming out to a very nice, let me just get these situated, very nice plus 264.
Just those?
Just those two plays, over 50.5 and minus 10.5 plus 264.
Yeah, I like that number quite a bit. That's really nice, especially, and we love making money off the 1 o'clock slate to then cruise into the 4 o'clock and add on to it. So that's going to be some excitement to start off the NFL Sunday there. Very excited for this weekend. A lot of fun stuff going on.
Yeah, no, we love to carry over some of that 1 o'clock money. And we love to get started on Thursday. So keep an eye out for the lads in Stockport, Peterborough. And as always, pay attention to those socials, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever, the everything app, TikTok, at The Cover Story. Follow us there. Check us out every Thursday on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple for podcasts. And that about wraps it up for episode 7. Mac, any final words for the listeners?
You know what? Yeah. Comment in any of our socials or our YouTube if you want to see some more basketball plays, maybe even hockey. But right now, we're 2 for 2 with basketball picks in the last 2 nights. Maybe we keep the string rolling. We're 0 for 1 with hockey, so I don't know if we want to retire that already. Thank you for the Stars just completely dropping the ball against the Islanders. But if you're looking for more sport plays, let us know. We may not be well-versed in certain sports, but there's sports that we can become well-versed in and do some research. So, keep us letting what you're betting on. We want to know what the people are also interested in, and then we want to be able to win with you. So, if you tail us, if you fade us, great either way. We love the engagement, but appreciate you guys tuning in, listening, and we look forward to seeing you over the weekend.
We certainly do. And if you're going to be taking some of our plays, or if you're going to be taking your own, as always, tail responsibly, fade if you dare.